has tied it up. The Cincinnati Reds win the World Series in 4 straight. It was a sweep.
In the dirt, it's a wild pitch. Here comes Walker. The Reds win the pennant.
Larkins won the game.
That ball is fair. Cincinnati's ahead. 2 games to none.
Welcome Joe Randa to Cincinnati. Adam Dunn has done it again.
Benzinger backing and calling. And the 1990 World Championship belongs to the Cincinnati Reds.
Marty, yes. This is Adam from Milwaukee. Hey, Adam, how you doing? I'm good. How are you? Good. Do you think Scott Chatterbox is a good player?
Dunn up there with the bases loaded, the outfield deep and around toward right, and the 1-0 on the way to the plate. Swung on, long drive, right field, and this one belongs to the Reds.
And a high drive, hit back into deep right field. Junior has just knocked the door down to the 500 club.
Benson's first home run is a walk-off winner. That ball had a family.
And De La Cruz is, oh my goodness, look at this kid run. My, oh my, that is a triple.
Matt McClain's first big league bomb.
Spencer Steer's first big league hit is a home run to straightaway center field. Joey Votto's done it again.
The pitch. Votto swings high in the air. Right field. Yes! He pointed to the dugout to say, I told you. That is Joey Votto's 315th career go-ahead ribby. Only Johnny Bench had more as a Red.
And I can't tell you how much it means to play in front of everyone here in Cincinnati as a Red. What a gift. What a tremendous gift. So thank you. Thank you.
I think I can speak for all of Reds country. Joey Votto, thank you.
High drive. Left center field. Racing back to the Laurent Bourgeois. The Reds are National League Central Division champions. In the air, left center field. Did he? Did he? He did. He did. Reds win. Reds win. Liner to right field. Genius, the first Red ever with 4 home runs in a game. Can you believe it? In the air, down the right field line. Doesn't have a chance. The Reds have won on a 3-run home run on opening day by Ramon Hernandez. A strike away and out away is Homer Bailey. Ground ball to third. Frazier gloves. Throw to first, and Homer Bailey, for the second time in his major league career, has tossed a no-hitter. Oh, gosh. Oh, my God. Are you kidding me? Holy Moses, the second player in major league history to hit 7 home runs in the first 10 games. In the air, and the Reds win it. What a dream beginning to the career of Jay Bruce.
All right, Nick. Turns out I'm doing a show tonight. I got to tell you, folks, your boy here just didn't check the schedule. The communication was about as good as Hunter Green and Tito's has been the last week and a half or so, I'd say. But nonetheless, we're here. I'm better than ever. I've never been more excited to do a show that I never planned on doing. Nick, I'll check the schedule from here on out, but I got to tell you, I just penciled in. Oh, it's Friday night. Somebody else is doing it. But hey, I guess when the going gets tough here, they bring in the guys that have been here quite literally maybe the longest. So, hey, I'm happy to do the show. I'm excited to do the show. I'm glad I watched every single pitch of the game, obviously, just because of the importance of it. But here we are. I think the last time I was on the show, Nick, I said the season's not over. Obviously, we've missed opportunities here, but the season's not over, and once again, we control our own destiny.
I think if Hunter Green would have had a Google doc made 6 months ago with the outlined plan, he probably would have had a little bit better communication. But Trace, you know what? Who gives a damn?
That's
Trace,
right.
the Reds control their own destiny. I can't even say it without laughing. How did this happen, man? How did this happen?
Yeah, the Mets lose a lot of baseball games. That's part of it. Who
Sandy
cares,
Alcantara. build the statue. Honorary Reds Hall of Fame member.
Yeah, I didn't even know how to say the dude's name like 4 days ago. I had just seen the news that they were pushing him back, and there was a lot of Mets fans that were completely upset about that. Now I found out why they're upset about it. Reds win 3-1. That's the most important thing. And also, as noted, and you probably could tell if you haven't already, the Mets were able to fall to the Miami Marlins, and we find ourselves in a spot now, Nick, as you just said. We control our own destiny. 2 games to go. It certainly doesn't feel like we have won anything yet. I almost because we've conquered this mountaintop already. We've gotten to this plateau. We've done this just a few days prior, and then obviously we failed to hold on to it. So I'm not going to go over the top and be like, we did it or anything like that. But certainly, you had the chance to where no matter how well you played, Nick, you just couldn't make the postseason because the Mets played great. And the Mets have now put the ball back in our court. And it was nice to see the Reds go into Milwaukee. And honestly, they kind of beat the Brewers at their own game in a way. They got timely double plays. They got some timely hits. And they won a baseball game 3-1. Still waiting, Nick. And I'm hopeful that we'll get it maybe tomorrow. But I'm waiting for that 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, dare I say 13-run game that this offense has to do at some point. I mean, we're kind of due for it. I know we wasted a lot of bullets maybe in Baltimore, but I could use some tomorrow. The stress levels of these 3-1 games are not good for anybody.
I don't know. 3 runs in Milwaukee feels like a pretty big crooked number to me with the way things have gone. You know what the Reds have won, Trace? They've won the right that no matter what on Sunday, they are still alive. The last day of the season, they are still alive. They cannot be eliminated until the final day of the regular season. And that's just insane. It's insane.
It is insane. So hopefully, what I'd love to have happen is tomorrow, right around this same time, maybe what would be about the same time. The Cincinnati Reds, it's just an insane thing to think about. The Cincinnati Reds could clinch themselves into the postseason at this time tomorrow. They could also find themselves in a spot where they have to be waiting to see if the Mets are capable of winning a game or not winning a game on the final day of the season.
Mets play at 4 o'clock.
I know they played before, but I'm just saying that they're going to have to. My point is they're going to have to hope that the Mets were to lose if they obviously don't take care of business here moving forward. So, I said it before. I'll say it again. Did I expect a sweep coming into Milwaukee? No, I certainly didn't. But I knew, and you knew, and the rest of Reds Nation knew that they were going to have to take 2 or 3 to have a serious opportunity. And winning game 1 of any series is just monumental. And listen, we can go back and sit here and discuss and pick apart all these different games that happened throughout the course of 2025. But you know what? It's all for naught. It doesn't matter anymore. All that matters is tomorrow and Sunday. And Nick, there's a lot of people that should get some credit on a night like tonight. The first thing that comes to my mind is the bullpen. But, even Littell gave him a great opportunity to kind of hang around when he's a guy that's prone to give up home runs. He did not do that tonight. It's just a good effort all around, and I don't know. It's just now we enter the phase of Reds baseball fandom that is a little unfamiliar for many of us, to be quite frank.
Yeah, 823 people watching, so Cincinnati Reds fever has taken over. Shout out to you. If this is your first time joining us, we are Chatterbox Reds. We do a post-game show, usually live in the 9th inning of every single game. But we're live after every single Reds game, podcast every single morning. Chatterbox Reds, be sure to check that out. Chatterbox Sports, all kinds of other great content. We cover the Bengals, everything else. So subscribe to the channel. We appreciate you tuning in tonight, and hopefully you'll keep tuning in, and hopefully the Reds can drag this miraculous season on as long as we can possibly hope.
Well, it's like you said, it's going to go to the final day no matter what. Ultimately, the most beautiful thing about it is if they can just find a way to win tomorrow, you have 2 scenarios that can happen on the final day that can give you a chance to get into the postseason. Obviously, if tomorrow you don't win, you open up Pandora's box. You also give an opportunity to where no matter what you do on Sunday could not matter at all. So they've not reached the mountaintop, as we all know. They have not done that, but ultimately they have found themselves back in position A, and they're the leader in the clubhouse. And the question is can they capitalize and find a way to get this thing done tomorrow? Nick, obviously I've not probably done nearly the amount of research that you have on the Brewers. Later in this show, I'd like to get into the concepts or the ideas of kind of what they're going to do, because obviously they're snug in their ways into the postseason and they don't have to worry about anything when it comes to where they're going to be seated. The question I have ultimately at the end of the show is going to be, will we catch a break by that being the case or not? Or is it something to where you don't think it's really going to matter at all because they're going to continue to play their guys because they have such a long break? We'll do that. We'll do, obviously, all the nuts and bolts of this baseball game. For those that are just tuning in, we always do a box score recap, and it's presented by Nick Kirby. Nick, take it away, and I am very much looking forward to the deepest drive of all of them, I'm sure, of the deep drive of the day here, as we don't have any minor league baseball as well.
It's a special one.
I can't wait for it. I'm looking forward to it.
All right, as the Reds took the field in Milwaukee, the Mets were leading 2-0, but as the game went on, the Marlins scored 6 unanswered runs and defeated the Mets 6-2. Now to Milwaukee, it was Zach Littell, Reds trade deadline acquisition, up against Quinn Priester. The Brewers had won 19 consecutive games that Priester had pitched in entering the night, one of the longest streaks in the history of Major League Baseball. Oh, and the Reds had lost 13 consecutive series to the Milwaukee Brewers. The Brewers took a 1-0 lead in the bottom of the third on a 2-out single from Bryce Terang, but the Reds quickly responded in the top of the fourth. Gavin Lux led off with a double, Miguel Andujar single, putting runners on the corners, and then with 1 out, Tyler Stevenson singled home the tying run. The Reds would, however, strand the bases loaded on a Cabrian Hayes double play. Littell should have got through 5 really brilliant innings, but an error on a routine ball to Elly De La Cruz ended Littell's day. Connor Phillips came in, struck out the only batter he faced in the inning, and Littell's final line would be over. Final line for Littell, 4 2/3 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. In the top of the 6th, Gavin Lux led off with another double, and he actually made it to third on an error by Brewers left fielder Jake Bowers. Miguel Andujar singled home Lux to make it 2-1. Elly De La Cruz then hit a ball that should have been a double play, but finally the Reds catch a break in Milwaukee. The ball bounces off the second base bag, runners on the corners. After Spencer Steer struck out, Tyler Stevenson hit a sac fly to make it 3-1, and then the Reds bullpen was absolutely fantastic. Connor Phillips, a perfect 6th inning with 2 strikeouts. Phillips retires all 4 batters that he faces with 3 strikeouts. Graham Ashcraft, a perfect 7th with a strikeout. Tony Santillan would walk a batter in the 8th, but Elly De La Cruz turned a double play by himself to end the inning. And Emilio Pagan, a perfect 9th with a strikeout. Reds win 3-1. Reds now 80-78 and control their own destiny for a playoff spot. Their magic number is 2. And the Reds have also now clinched their 4th winning season in the last 6 years. The last time the Reds had 4 winning seasons in any 6-year stretch was 1995 to 2000.
Well, let's hope 1995 rears its head once again. We do have a deep drive of the day, I am told, and it is a special one. Coming off the bat of Connor Norby. That's hilarious. That's his 8th home run of the year to left field. Xavier Edwards would score, and that would give your Miami Marlins a 6-2 lead in the bottom of the 5th, giving the win probability a whopping 12% boost to 92.8%. And you know what is 100%? The Miami Marlins would go on to win. DSC, they are a leader in renewable commodities for biofuel production, specializing in used cooking oil collection, aggregation, and sales. Visit www.deepsouthcommodities.com for more information. And thank you to John and his team at DSC for supporting this goofy, stupid, wonderful show all season long. And we got 2 more wonderful days to spend it together. And then possibly, just possibly, a few more after that. As a reminder, Omaha Steaks, they got a 50% off red hot sale event going on right now at omahasteaks.com. You can get an extra $35 off by using the promo code Chatterbox. That's CHATTERBOX. That is, once again, an extra $35 off using the promo code Chatterbox. CHATTERBOX. You got to order them now, folks, because ultimately, if you want those things on the grill right around the postseason time with that fall crisp air. Now's the time to go check it all out. You can do that at omahasteaks.com. Nick, what a show. What a show. I got to tell you, quite the show to do, especially when you didn't think that you were doing one. And now I find myself right back into the flow. Zach Littell. I don't know if he knew that he was going to find himself in this type of predicament when he got traded to the Reds. I had watched I don't know, we were looking when he first got traded from the Rays. I watched maybe a handful of interviews. He kind of seemed like he was upset. Like, obviously, I know that maybe when you get your life uprooted from you, you got to move, you got to do all these things. I almost wonder, now maybe I'm being a little too overly skeptical here. I almost wonder when they said, hey, we've traded you. And he's like, who did you trade me to? Because now I'm excited. I want to go to a team that might have a chance. And they're like, the Cincinnati Reds. That's who you're going to. And he was like, okay, thank you. Appreciate that one. Now he finds himself on a night like tonight where he needed to give them a chance, and ultimately he did just that. I'm not going to sit here and say that he was brilliant or unbelievable or did anything extraordinary, but he did give them a chance to win, and for all intents and purposes, he probably would have 100% got through that inning if Ellie didn't make the air. I don't know how much longer the leash was, Nick. Did you feel like that was the end of the line regardless if he got through that inning?
Yeah, I think the Reds' plan was 5, and he was done no matter what. So yeah, I don't think. I mean, Phillips was already warming up, and there was no one on base. So that's a pretty good sign that I think that they were just trying to get 5 out of him, which is the right call. Now, in fairness to Littell, he might have not loved going to Cincinnati because there wasn't really a for sure spot in the rotation as much as anything else. He's a free agent after the end of the year for the first time in his career. So you think if you're getting traded to the trade deadline as a starting pitcher, you want to go somewhere where you for sure have a starting spot. He ended up getting a starting spot, but it wasn't a guarantee. Remember when they traded for him, they kind of were wishy-washy a little bit on which one of him or Martinez would go to the bullpen. So I'll say maybe that was the reason Littell wasn't as thrilled, which I would understand if I was in his case. There's a lot of money on the line this offseason. But he was fantastic tonight. I mean, set the tone in this game. He actually walked the batter in, I think, the first inning, which is very unlike him. But after that, settled down. This was a big start. I mean, you have to set the tone. The offense got 9 hits off Quinn Priester, but weren't really able to get a lot to score, and he kept putting up zeros. And, this is probably the last time we see Zach Littell start in a Reds uniform, barring something crazy. I mean, certainly not going to see him unless you go to the National League Division Series. That'd be the first time you'd even think about seeing him as a starting role. But, yeah, he did a really good job. He had some stinkers, but he had some really big starts. Also threw, I think, 6 innings of 1-run ball against the Brewers, made a couple big starts against the Cubs. So did a really good job and was a nice addition to this team down the stretch.
I thought the Cowboy made a nice mention tonight. Now, I'll openly say I'm not totally sure if this was the plan of Littell or not, or if this was even something that was trying to be a game plan or to be executed, to be frank. But it seemed like Cowboy was suggesting that Littell typically would challenge guys to make sure that he didn't walk them if he fell behind in the count, which is why maybe he gives up the most home runs. So that seems pretty straightforward, right? If you have nobody on base and you're behind in the count, you're willing to just challenge them. If they hit a home run, so what? You live with it because it's just a solo home run. And for Littell, for the most part, he's kind of been able to limit the damage on his home runs. So I kind of bought into that notion what Cowboy was saying, and he suggested that maybe tonight he wasn't doing that as much as he would have in the past because he realized that anybody that watched this team for at least a little bit of time has realized that runs are kind of hard to come by right now, and you might not have the ability to give up 2 or 3 solo home runs and still win a baseball game. So that might have led to the idea of him walking maybe a guy or two more than he's traditionally used to doing. But at the end of the day, man, this was the matchup, and I don't want to sit here and jinx it, but this was the matchup I personally was concerned with, Nick. It felt like going into this series, if there was a chance that the Brewers had a pretty good advantage, I guess, for lack of a better term, they were going to have it tonight. And then ultimately, if the Mets were to win tonight and you were to lose, it doesn't matter how big of an advantage you have the last 2 games of the series because you're damn near dead. But the opposite happened. Mets find a way to lose. You find a way to win. And now you find yourself in just an awesome, awesome spot moving forward. And again, I've said it once, I'll say it 1,000 times, and maybe it's just superstition. Job's not finished. It's just not finished. But you know what is starting to help this team finish is the bullpen. They have been unbelievably good, not just lately. They have been unbelievably good, Nick, all year long. I don't want to cast a shadow over the work that has been done prior, the men that have gotten us to this point. Scott Barlow, for all intents and purposes, deserves credit when there's 900 people in here, just as much as maybe Connor Phillips deserves credit, because back in the day, we were relying on the Barlows of the world to get us into the 7th, the 8th, and the 9th. Santion's been here all year. Pagan's been here all year. Yes, Connor Phillips has been the biggest, best surprise addition to this bullpen, and that is also giving credit to Chase Burns. I'm not trying to downplay what he means to this bullpen, but the way Connor Phillips went quite literally from the Arizona Complex League and rose all the way back to finding himself into not just a spot where you put him in the bullpen and you feel like, hey, let's use him if we have to use him type kind of mop-up role, just another extra guy down there so we don't have to burn guys that we want to trust. No. I'm going to go out and say this right now, and I hope that it obviously will stay true. I think I trust him the most out of every single person that's coming out of this bullpen right now. I don't want to, hopefully that doesn't shade the other guys. I'm not trying to downplay him, Pagan. I'm not trying to downplay Santion. But from a pure stuff standpoint, when you watch him pitch, he just overpowers guys right now. And he's spotting his pitches, and it's been unbelievable to watch, Nick.
Yeah, maybe I would have Chase Burns ahead of him, but I mean, yeah, that might even still be an argument. Yeah, I mean, this stuff's always been there with him. It's just been throwing strikes, and when he throws strikes, he's really, really hard to hit. And Trace, he wasn't in the Arizona Complex League playing games last year. He was literally so bad, and his confidence was so shot that the Reds sent him to Arizona and didn't even play him in games that counted, that where there were stats posted on the internet. They were only playing him in, I think, behind the scenes games or working with him or developing him. He was never put on the IL. Like, if he's actually hurt, you have to actually designate him on the IL. So he was just listed on the roster and never pitched in a game out there. That's 1 year ago. That's where he was. And so shout out to him for turning his career around. Shout out to him for being moved to the bullpen and going with the role. And he's kind of cocky out there. I love it, man. You need that as a reliever, I think. I mean, I think that's what makes a lot of relievers great. Not every reliever has to have that, but I think a lot of the good ones kind of have to have that arrogance because you're going to have some games where it doesn't go your way, and you got to be able to bounce back the next day.
I think every reliever that's good has arrogance about them one way or the other, whether it's internal or whether it's external. Yeah. They have it. They might not showcase it, Nick, but they certainly feel like there's a little bit of it's a kid show, but an FU type mentality they have. And Connor Phillips certainly has that right now. And you can tell by just the way that he's kind of challenging guys, right? It doesn't seem like he's too scared to throw the ball, a fastball over the heart of the plate if he needs to do that to try to get a strike across. But I don't know if it's pure dumb luck right now with him or if it's just that he's figured something out. The whole elbow thing that they had mentioned in a previous broadcast about him thinking that he found something. I don't know, like I said, if it's just a psychological thing that worked or if it's truly a mechanical thing that actually helped him get over this kind of notion of walking guys. But he looks and has been unbelievable from a location standpoint. Not just the stuff, but he's dotting the corners on some really, really meaningful pitches. And, man, if it's luck, then so be it. I'll continue to take the luck. Give Santion his credit. Once again, he walks another guy. I had mentioned in the group chat that I'm a little fearful, a little concerned about the walks he's had of late. I know he had 2 a few outings ago, but I guess that's just more or less my stress levels. Perhaps it has not been as bad as it has seemed in my brain. But he got a good big-time double play ball. Ellie obviously makes the error early in the game, but he's able to come back, and he makes a very patient, smart double play ball. I know a lot of people are going to look over that. They might not think that was a tough play. But I thought that was a really, really big play by Ellie and a really good job by Steer being able to receive it on the other end as well. Anytime you have Ellie throwing the ball, 100 miles an hour, sidearm across the bag, I'm not going to act like it's an easy job for Steer. But that was a huge, huge play in the game, Nick.
Tony Santion, MLB leading 80th appearance. And this is a guy that, remember, hasn't even really been back up to speed. He was hurt and hasn't been like a reliever consistently pitched deep into a season. Leads Major League Baseball in appearances, and today was the 6th time that he's pitched in the last 8 days, Trace. I mean, this guy has been a straight rubber arm for this team. I have no idea how he's even doing it. I mean, it is almost borderline crazy what they're doing. And I'm going to say it again. The Cincinnati Reds should send that man a bonus check because he's a reliever and they get screwed in terms of arbitration and how they get paid. He's going to enter free agency as an old man as a reliever. He deserves a bonus check. If there's a sponsor out there, sponsor Tony Santillan. Send this man a bonus check. Yeah. Give this man his due because he's pitched his tail off for this team, and the Reds would not be even close to where they are without Tony Santillan this year.
Yeah. Well, if the Reds do anything meaningful and Candelario gets anything of value, I say we just save that and we'll just go ahead and chalk it up and just not send anything to Scranton.
We'll sell Candelario's World Series ring on eBay, and that money goes to Tony Santillan.
That's exactly what I was getting at. Or Candelario could just have some actual, perhaps just some, what's the right word, character, and he could just send over some coin from the bank account that he's going to continue to receive these checks from the Cincinnati Reds. There's the Candelario bingo card on 2 games out with a magic number of 2 with 2 days left in the season. Positive, I might add. I got nothing bad to say about Candy. Bullpen, spectacular. Pagan, don't want to gloss over him. He did a very good job tonight, but we got to move on. Lux.
Ashcraft.
Ashcraft too. I mean,
has been pitching really, really good since he's come back.
Yes.
Shout out to Graham Ashcraft.
Yep. Big outing on Sunday. Big outing. Like, bullpen is what it is. It's like, it seems like a no-win situation unless you're the closer, kind of, because even the closer, I mean, let's face it, on a night like tonight, no one's probably going to bring up Pagan because there wasn't any fireworks. There wasn't anything special that happened, and it was kind of ho-hum in the 9th. And yeah, if you blow the game as a reliever, though, boy, oh boy, you'd be topic number 1 on this show, and you'd also be in the minds of damn near every single Reds fan. So, got to give credit where credit is due. Bullpen was excellent. Another person that gets a lot of credit that we have said time and time again, we don't really think that he probably belongs in the 3-hole, but based off of his kind of peripherals and the numbers that he puts up. But tonight, boy, did he put up some numbers. Gavin Lux showed some firepower tonight more than anything, Nick. A couple extra base hits and really set the table kind of in a way for this team. The triple, I don't know if they gave him a triple or not. I didn't check the box score, but whatever. The ball that got a double down the line, and he kind of misplayed it a little bit and got to a triple. That set the tone in that inning. And, let's face it. If TJ Friedel and Gavin Lux both have the nights like they have tonight, I'm hopeful that we'll start to score more than 3 runs. I'd like to think that we will. But you got to give Lux some credit. He's actually been very good of late, Nick, in general. And they've I was a little skeptical when they tried to put him at second base. I was a little skeptical when they put him in left field, largely because those are just not positions that where he's very good at. And we've survived both of those games, and it's worked out. It's been a net positive for this baseball team.
Yeah, I mean, and Gavin Lux is the one guy on this roster that does have legitimate playoff experience. I mean, he did win a World Series last year. Jose Trevino does as well, but I wouldn't trust him to swing a bat to save his life right now. But yeah, I mean, Gavin Lux has played very well this week. So is TJ Friedel. I mean, we did that show a couple days ago. We were talking about the top 3 of the lineup, and they've all answered the bell the last 3 games since then. So yeah, I do not love Gavin Lux in left field. I think that is a accident waiting to happen. Entering today, he had -6 outs above average and 89, what do they call it, attempts or chances or whatever, which is not good at all. I know he made that one sliding catch, but I think if I would have got a better camera angle on that, I probably would have seen that, made that a little harder than it was. But nonetheless, he got the job done, had 2 huge hits, both leadoff doubles that set the tone for those innings. Yeah, and shout out to Gavin Lux, shout out to Miguel Andujar as well. This guy just is like, he can just roll out of bed with half of a quad or whatever his injury is and just keep hitting.
I don't give a damn if he's got a half a quad, no quad, a full quad. At this point, if he hits like this, what's it matter? You know what I'm saying? Like it maybe hypothetically, maybe the quad is actually helping him. I don't know, but I know this, like, we're getting to the point now where you kind of have to play these guys, Nick. Like, we don't have enough firepower to not have an Andujar in the lineup. And I know Sal Stewart's going to be a hotly debated topic every single night that he doesn't get a chance, and if this team scores 3 runs or less. And the reality is this is who this team is, man. And it's frustrating on one end because you always are fighting tooth and nail every single night, it feels like, Nick, to win these games, and there's nothing that comes easy. Heaven forbid you go out and you win a 9-2 game. It just doesn't happen with this team. But what they are capable of doing is masking a lot of the inefficiencies that they have on the offensive side, because they go out and they pitch the ball, and hopefully they catch it more times than not, and they win 3-1. They win 2-0. They win 1-0. And let's face it, the last week, Nick, the offense has not been good. It's not been good at all. But we're not going to sit here and make a big deal about it, because they have found themselves now where they control their own destiny with 2 days to go. And I just have this weird, like, maybe I'm just being overly optimistic. It's got to come. This thing is, like, this offense continues to get 8, 9, 10 hits at times, though, Nick. It's not like they only get 2 hits and score 2 runs. The last 2 games, I don't have it in front of me, but they've gotten hits. They just have not gotten the massive hit, if you want to call it that it kind of breaks the game wide open. And some of that's probably because the bottom of the lineup is what it is. You have a couple guys with Trevino in there at times, and Brian Hayes and Matt McClain. Just a lot of outs. Those are a lot of outs, and we'll see what Tito does moving forward with this offense. Nick, we got 2 games left. I got to ask you some, like, genuine questions here. Gavin Lux, as we take a quick look here at the NL wildcard scoreboard, the Padres just had a grand slam from Tatis. That would
eliminate the Arizona Diamondbacks if they lose.
That would. I got to tell you guys, though, this. I maybe I'm being, like, overly crazy. This comes down to us and the Mets. I mean, there's just no way around it. There's no way the Mets get swept, man. I'm again, hand up, maybe not. There's just no way the Mets get swept. There's no way.
Hey, Nick, I want every path possible, Trace.
Nick, listen to me closely.
Possible. Let's get the Diamondbacks out of there and love.
Listen to me closely. The Mets can't get swept. Impossible. Nick, there's no way in the world.
That's true.
The Mets are going to get swept, right?
I mean, they have Clay Holmes going tomorrow.
Exactly.
Clay Holmes and David Peterson on Sunday.
You have to win those 2 games. I mean,
they have a $340 million payroll.
Exactly, Nick. Now you're picking up what I'm putting down. There's just no way in the world that the New York Mets could possibly lose the next 2 days. No way in the world. I can't see it coming from a mile away, and you can't see it either. And if you're a Reds fan, you can say it with me. The Mets will not get swept. All right. Where was I and where do I go? The question I had for you, Nick, before we had the wild card update with the Tatis home run was this: is that
thank you, Greg.
You've got to make a decision on what this move is going to be for the next 2 days and the postseason. If you find yourself, is Gavin Lux going to start playing second base? Are you going to stick Spencer Steer in left field at any point? Are you going to move Sal Stewart to first base? I'm just saying, these are things that have happened over the last week and a half. Maybe it's only for 1 inning. Maybe it's only for a couple innings. But the truth is it has happened. I'm wondering, how much do you think Tito is going to start to push his luck, if you want to call it that, on defense to try to get some more offense in there?
Well, tomorrow is an interesting game, which we'll talk about a little bit more later. But the Brewers are doing a bullpen game. They're starting a lefty, but they have a bulk pitcher and Jacob Mizorowski, the All-Star, who's a right-handed pitcher. So tomorrow's lineup will be very interesting. I'm assuming you see for sure Andujar in there again tomorrow. You don't see Benson. You probably don't see Lux, where he's hitting lower in the lineup. So he'll have to kind of manipulate the lineup a little bit tomorrow. But I guess Sunday you're facing Peralta. Be interested to see, obviously it'd be great if that game doesn't matter. That would just be insane. But yeah, I mean that's and what is Austin Hayes too? I mean, Austin Hayes isn't even a part of this, and this guy was playing every single day. So I continue to believe, though, you're better off riding with Hayes and McClain. And I know that's not a popular decision among this fan base, but defense matters. The team that you're playing, they would play Hayes and McClain. They would not weaken their third base and second base defense for a little bit of additional offense. I think Sal Stewart, whether people hate it or not, has no chance probably of starting a game unless the Reds got in a desperate spot where you get in the playoffs and you're down, to your, it would and something like that. I think he's for sure out. The question is Benson out? That's maybe the biggest question is was this just today's matchup, or did Benson have a couple average games and find his way out of the craze again?
No, I just think that's it's part of who Tito is. There's a trust factor that comes with some of these guys, whether they're warranted or not. It doesn't matter. We've seen it all year long. I don't know why I'm not suggesting that you are, but we don't have to sit here and act like we don't know what's going on. Gavin Lux is a highly trusted player. Spencer Steer is a highly trusted player. Santiago Espinal for a long time was a highly trusted player, and then he obviously has gotten gulagged. And now you have Matt McLain, who struggled. I got to tell you, I don't know if it's the right time just because you have 2 games left. You haven't really played him a whole lot. I think it maybe even be slightly kind of unfair to him, if we're being honest. But, if Espinal was a guy that played second base and you said, you know what, he's had success against left-handed pitching, and the way that Matt McLain has been going of late, I'll live with it. I could understand that move. The issue is more or less, but you're putting in somebody that just has not played hardly at all over the last 2 months into what is now playoff games. I mean, that seems a little crazy. But it doesn't seem so crazy when you watch Matt McLain strike out it seems like 2 times a night. Now, his defense has carried him through. And that's the one thing that I want people to understand about Matt McLain is, like, he has played good defense, and we have to at least give him some credit for that. I'm not suggesting it's good enough, but what I am saying is that even on a ball like tonight, I know that nobody's going to remember it, and I know that people are going to say that's not that big of a deal. It's not that, it's not that hard of a play. Okay, there's a bouncing ball in the hole between first and second base. He does a good job of basically pivoting his hips, making a strong throw to second base, and getting that lead runner out when some other inferior defensive second baseman, whether that be Gavin Lux, whether that be Sal Stewart, would have taken the easy out at first base, and that leaves you with a scoring opportunity at second base that you otherwise would have never even thought of because it doesn't show up in the box score. It doesn't mean that it's something that you're going to be able to remember vividly at the end of a game. Even if you take the out at first base, Nick, and they get a base hit that inning and score that guy from second base, I don't think the vast majority of fans are even going to be like, oh my gosh, what a huge mistake made by one of the defensive players at second base because they didn't take the lead out. Those are the small things that I do think Tito gives a lot of value to, and I can understand why he continues to give these guys opportunities that play good defense. Brian Hayes is another guy who, thankfully, on Sunday played very, very well, but he was struggling excessively at the plate. And he still continues to get opportunities. Last question I have for you on the offensive front before we move on is this. There was a spot tonight where you could have made the case that there was a chance to pinch hit Sal Stewart. You have an opportunity clearly to put in, Sal Stewart to play third base for the remainder of the game. There's a 4th, 5th, 6th inning kind of this la-la land that we might find ourselves in. I just wonder, if we find ourselves in a bases-loaded situation with less than 2 outs and a huge scoring opportunity, does Tito trust Sal Stewart enough to play third base for the last 4 or 5 innings if you give yourself a chance with Sal Stewart at the plate versus Brian Hayes?
Well, you could also pitch at Sal Stewart and then bring in Santiago Espinal. He is on the roster for literally, I think, that exact spot. I'll actually side with Tito. I know our Discord was wanted Sal to pinch it really bad there. It was a tie game. Brian Hayes had 2 hits the day before, and a fly ball there would have made it a 2-1 game. So it didn't work out, but I think that was the right call. I don't think you want to chase offense at the expense of taking out your best defensive player, the best defensive player in Major League Baseball, for that particular spot. There's other spots where I think it would. If you were trailing, it's a different story. But in a game that was tied, where a fly ball would give you the lead and Brian doesn't even have to get a hit, I side with Tito on that. I get why people want to chase offense. I don't think I would do that. And one point I have on McLain, he does have 15 home runs this year. That's 3rd on this team, tied with Austin Hayes. So the one thing with McLain is, even if he's completely lost, which he looks lost again, the thing that's been brutal about the season with McLain is he'd have a couple weeks where he looks great, looks like, oh man, he's fine, and it's just been the cycle all year. But he does at least give you one guy that can run into a ball, and it's not an accident for him to hit a home run. He's hit 15 of them this year. And when you're talking playoff games, one home run can swing a game.
Yeah, well, 15 home runs in a season, unfortunately for the Reds, is one of the higher numbers, and I'm not here to try to make fun of us or poke fun at our offense, but it's like, when they flash on the screen that Shohei Ohtani has 54 home runs, and you're like, well, that's almost 3 times the amount of our leader. It's kind of like, I think you could add up every player on the Reds, and it might add up to that, to be honest with you. It's a little bit of a joke there to give me a break, but I get it. 15 home runs makes you feel like there's a lot of power there, but I still feel like it's wishing upon a shooting star for Matt McLain to hit a ball over the fence. But to your point, I get what you're saying. You put in Santiago Espinal, and there's quite literally almost what feels like 0 chance there, right?
There's 0 all year. So
yeah, well, I mean, I'm trying to be nice, Nick. This is a positive show. Reds are holding their own playoff opportunity here. They hold their own destiny with 2 games left. We don't want to go too hard in the paint on some of these guys. So we'll see. Maybe they'll be the heroes tomorrow. That's all that matters. I just want to say also, for all of you that are in the chat, I don't know if we've ever reached, I think we probably have before once or twice, but the fact that we have over 1,000 in the chat right now is very, very thankful for all of us at Chatterbox and also this show. We had humble beginnings, Nick, when we first started this. I think we were projected to win 60-something games. At most, we probably had 30 people in the chat at times. So the fact that the Cincinnati Reds have gotten us into a spot now where all of you are in here at one time, we very much appreciate it. Hit the like button if you haven't already. And I also want to tell everybody, if you are in a time of crisis and you need any help, you can always text and or call 988. You can also visit mantherapy.org to get help. It's okay to not be okay. Once again, it's anonymous hotline 24/7. You can text and or call 988. You can also visit mantherapy.org. We have a plethora of super chats. So many super chats that we are going to run through them. And I got news for you. Craig's going to try to do the whole thing where he puts them all in. I'm going to tell you right now, Craig, don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. We are going to start flying through the super chat. I want to let everybody know that the AI thing needs to go away so I can actually see the super chats. Thanks, YouTube. Here we go. Vandy81 says, 2 more wins to go. You are right. What a clown, HD. I'm going to have to be Ron Burgundy tonight and make sure I don't do something really dumb because I got a feeling that there's some out there because I take a look at some of these super chats and boy, oh boy, oh boy. Some of them are funny. What a clown, HD says, win 1 more and they're in, ? Also, my goodness, Matt McLain couldn't hit a beach ball with a tennis racket. ATOBTTR, it's not 1 more win and they're in. They would have to win 2 more to be automatically in. 1 more win and a Mets loss tomorrow, and the Padres were able to hold on tonight. That would put them in. Kind of crazy to think at this time tomorrow we could be celebrating a postseason clinching baseball team. We could also be hoping and praying that the Marlins have to beat the Mets on Sunday. What a time to be alive. Jacob Doyle says, go Reds. Loyal watcher is Jacob Doyle. Alex, he's back. He says, random shout-out to Arthur Rhodes. ATOBTTR, baby. Arthur Rhodes, all-timer. The old left-handed reliever for the Cincinnati Reds. Great
played for the
reliever.
Marlins. Played for the Marlins.
Yeah, maybe that's where Alex was going with that. Jim Jones with a big bomb here. Super chat said, let's go Red Leggies. Never heard that one. Leggies. No matter what you have made the nasty natty proud. Jim, I'm going to let you speak for yourself. I got to tell you right now, if they drop the next 2 games, there's going to be a lot of people in Cincinnati that are going to be absolutely pissed. But you know what? We had them dead 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 times. I know for a fact I'm going to get clipped to hell and back if they make the playoffs, and I'm ready for it, and I'm happy about it, to be honest with you. Justin Edgel says, who else is totally, well, you build houses with this, folks. I'm going to try to keep it a kid show, but what you do is you stack them one by one, right? You ever heard of that term, folks? Who else is totally stack them one by one? Hopefully you're picking up what I'm putting down. Mott Fish Flakes says, was Tito chugging Pepto in the 9th? Laugh out loud. Go Red Legs. I told Nick that I think it's a good opportunity for somebody to sell a Tums ad every single time we head to the 9th here moving forward because it feels like a gut check. Heaven forbid we know when we're going to the 9th, if we are winning, it's a 1 or 2 run game. Savo says, happy birthday, Molly. Shout out to Molly. Happy birthday to her. And she has been a loyal watcher of this show and Chatterbox Sports for a long time. There's a lot of OGs in here, and I'm proud to see it. The Real Spirit Cat, also an OG, says, happy birthday, Molly. From the chat OGs, LFG Reds. So Molly's getting a lot of love in the chat right now, and she should. Mike Dean says, anyone else panic when Ellie stomped on Hayes in the 9th? Well, Mike, I got to tell you, Mike, I was telling Nick, I'm sorry, I didn't know I was doing a show tonight. I was scrambling around trying to make sure that I could get live on YouTube while half the chat was asking if we were asleep. So, no, I didn't see it.
Trace, go to Chatterbox Sports on Twitter and pull up the play. You got to watch it right now. And
I did see it. I did see it. Yes.
You did see it. Okay.
Yeah, I seen it as I was wild. Yeah. I remember, Nick, you were like, "Oh, the game's over," and then you were like, "Oh," yeah, you literally went, "Oh no." Yeah. So yeah, we like keeping things interesting. Who knows?
That doesn't have a bad back or anything.
Yeah. Well, who knows? Maybe Ellie and Sal Stewart's had a lot of times in the minor leagues together, and they were co-opting together to try to find a way for him to get in the lineup. I don't know. Brian Daniel said, "Love you guys. Best Red show there is by a lot. Voice of the fan. Show my man Kirby some respect." Yeah. Well, we appreciate the kind words. Thank you, Brian. Very, very nice of you. Lisa Reed says, "Happy birthday, Molly." Happy birthday, Molly. That's 3 Molly happy birthdays for those that are keeping track at home. Harrow says, the deep drive of the day is not being Lux is sad. Laugh out loud. He saved the season by himself.
Well, Connor Norby did too.
Yeah, I mean, it goes both ways, Harrow. We kind of need the Mets to win.
No,
Drake.
No, we need the Mets to lose.
I'm saying we kind of need I said the Mets, I meant the Marlins summer. Like I said before, the Mets have no chance of losing again the rest of the year. There's just no way. The Cockroach Reds are at it again. The final road, final ding of the bell with the Rocky music playing, baby. Yeah, I might go watch Rocky, maybe. A Rags to Ruin story says, "I want a red shirt with a cockroach on it." Forrest Suarez says, "The roach of MLBs are trying to sneak." The cockroaches just came out of nowhere on the super chats. We just were like, cockroach, cockroach, cockroach. The roach of MLBs are trying to sneak in, and we sneak in. One thing we know about this team is they won't die. Go Reds /roaches. Jonathan says, I'm big super chat from Jonathan, so I'm fired up about that. And so is he about his Omaha Steaks, I think. Going to fire up some Omaha Steaks this weekend during the games. Unreal pitching. Go Reds. Thank you, Jonathan, for supporting us. As a reminder, really quickly, there is a 50% off sale for Omaha Steaks. You can use the code Chatterbox, CHATTERBOX, and you can get $35 extra off. You can give yourself a nice treat. You know, sometimes you deserve some things that you might not do for yourself, and why not? Why not just go and get you some Omaha Steaks and, maybe even some gourmet hot dogs. Nick Kirby likes those. Smitty Gunslinger said, "I was at the ballpark last Sunday, and I met a girl and got a number. And I have a date with her tomorrow to watch the game. Call me Caucasian persuasion with spectacular vernacular. Is life real right now?" That's the super chat so far, maybe of the week. We shall see, because Ned Flanders is coming in hot right behind him, and Ned Flanders knows how to have a hell of a super chat. He said, "Let's give a bonus to the second base bag." Thank you. I meant to bring that up like 3 different times while Nick was talking, and I completely forgot every single time, just like I forgot that I was doing this show. But more importantly, that second base bag was a masterful job tonight. Ortiz was about to field that ground ball, step on second, and make a nice throw to first for a double play. Instead, it kicked out and left. And give Andujar some credit. He's got no hamstrings. He's got no calves. He's got no thighs. He's got no legs. And he took it from first to third. So give Andujar some credit. All right? Neil Harris says, "Trace, you have showed me toxic can be happiness." Hey, listen, I'm just a man of what I'm watching, okay? That's all I am. You know what I'm saying? I had an analogy right there. It wasn't a good one. All right, it wasn't a good one. Maybe I'll do a different analogy. Have you ever seen the attitudes of people that have been waiting in line for 2 hours at an amusement park in 95-degree weather at the back of the line? Yeah, well, sometimes that's how you feel. But then have you seen the people when they're getting ready to get onto the ride? You know, there's just 2 different waves of emotion in life sometimes, and I find myself as I'm getting ready to get on the ride right now. Forrest Suarez says, "Don't forget to like the stream, folks." That is a very nice super chat telling us how to do our job, so thank you for that. Jonathan Y1 says, "The craziest season I can remember, and we aren't done yet." That's the scary part. It has been a crazy season. So as soon as you think you're good, you're not. And as soon as you think you're not good, you are good. I don't know what the heck we're going to do the next 2 days, whether we're good, we're bad, or we're indifferent. I don't know. but it's fun to know that the Cincinnati Reds are playing meaningful baseball with 2 games to go. Bill Furman says that ball bouncing off the bag just made it feel like this is our time. It did, didn't it? I felt that way genuinely when the Washington Nationals were catching balls looking like the Savannah Bananas out there against the New York Mets. I was like, this is our time. And then the Pirates came into town and just really pissed me off with that. But nonetheless, we're past the Pirates. Retired home run guy says, save a ring. Hell yeah, thank you, retired home run guy. Save a ring for Austin Wentz. No doubt about it. All right, folks. Thank you for the super chats. We're going to go back to doing a show here. If you haven't already, hit the like button. And we got it. We can you believe it, Nick? We are in September 26th, and we have what we call a two-way rundown. We got more than just one side of this thing.
I don't even think we have a half of one.
Well, there were times where you were stretching it pretty thin. I think we had about 2 things.
We might have just gone on StreamYard. Like, not even.
Who knows? It would have been tough sledding for us. I made fun of Omaha Steaks because I thought that they came in at the world's worst time, and turns out, joke's on me. They came in at the best time there was in the history of the show. Playoff bullpen, you have it on here. I'll let you elaborate on it. I'm sure you have some thoughts and some ideas, perhaps. And we still, by the way, I want to say this, job's not done, Nick.
Yeah, I just with Littell making his last start, I don't think people realize like how far you would cut down a bullpen in the playoffs. No team goes more than 11. A lot of teams only do 10. So under that pretense, and you have Green, Lodolo, Abbott, maybe in the bullpen, but I think he's obviously going to be a part of it. Singer, Pagan, Santillan, Phillips, Ashcraft, Burns, Martinez. That leaves 1 spot left between Littell, Barlow, Maxwell, and Suter. Who would be your final spot?
Give them to me again.
Littell, Barlow, Maxwell, Suter.
Well, Suter is the only guy that you're like, well, there's one lefty at least, right? I don't know if he's clearly not the best option, but it does make you think, like, do you at least have that there? But I got to be honest, like, I don't know if
Suter's not even a chance for me.
No.
Sorry, Brett.
You
can sit in the clubhouse and be the vibes guy and play the music.
I was going to be nice. I was going to say, to be honest, even as a lefty-lefty matchup, I don't think I want Suter coming in with the game on the line, and that's no disrespect, of course. I don't mean it like that, but I will say the way that Ashcraft splits were at one time, I don't know if they're still this way, but it feels like that's the guy you bring in to maybe try to get left-handed hitters out just because he's got those reverse splits. At least he did at one time. I don't want to overspeak here. Maybe it's been completely different for the last few weeks, but nonetheless, that was one option. I got to tell you, I'm having Barlow be that guy out of respect, almost. I mean, we never find ourselves in this position without him, and I still think I trust him probably more than the other guys. And I don't know. Do you feel the same way? I don't know what you get out of Littell, anyways, out of the bullpen, but
I would leave Littell. I think I would leave Littell. He has reliever experience, so that's a thing that is nice. And in extra innings, Trace, I know the Reds already struggle to score without the ghost runner, but there's no ghost runner in extra innings. So I don't think it's too hard to imagine a scenario where this team got into an extra inning game and it kept going for a while. And I think I'd like to have Zach Littell as a guy that could go 4 or 5 innings if you needed him.
He just gives up home runs, though. Like, that's the only concern I have. I get it, but I don't know. Barlow's came in so many times and done an excellent job. He's also stranded guys left and right. I mean, listen, now we're talking about like the bottom end of this whole thing, to where if it gets to these guys, does it really matter? I don't know if it does. The truth is that this team's probably going to have to win with excellent starting pitching and maybe three or four guys at most throwing out of the bullpen. If we got ourselves into a spot where the last guy in the bullpen means a lot, boy, I'd be shocked. But I don't want to downplay it. I'm just saying openly, I'm not dying on the hill for anybody, if we're being honest, Nick.
Barlow, 8 ERA of 12.27 in September, 3 home runs allowed in 7 1/3 innings.
That's what he's due.
I think you've I think the Reds have squeezed every ounce of juice they were getting out of Scott Barlow, and it was good juice. So I appreciate it.
Does he get a bonus?
No, he got fairly compensated this year, and he has a buyout next year that the Reds will probably pay. So he's fairly compensated. Tony Santillan was not.
Fair enough. I had mentioned this at the top of the show, Nick. I said I really want to know what you think as we get another NL wildcard update here. The Arizona Diamondbacks continue to trail the Padres 6-2 at the end of the 5th inning. Thanks to Craig there for jumping that up there and keeping us updated as we move forward in the show. I asked you a simple question, or I said I would love to know the answer to. The Brewers are a team that I don't know. I guess they're still trying to chase the franchise record, as you had mentioned the other night. But other than that, is there anything to play for? And do you think that the Reds could catch a break, or do you think that this is probably one of those things where they're not really, because they're going to play in a week and they want to keep everybody at least playing at least somewhat fresh so they're not rusty when it comes postseason time?
Yeah, the Phillies won tonight, so they're technically still alive for the number 1 overall seed in the entire playoffs. The Brewers have a game lead or a 2-game lead, but the magic number is 1 for the Brewers to clinch the number 1 seed. So if somehow the Brewers went 0-2 and the Phillies went 2-0, they would lose that. So that obviously is important to them. The Phillies tomorrow, they play at 6:05, so they'll be an hour earlier. But they're playing the Minnesota Twins, who are like a AAA team right now. So, the Brewers do need to get one more win for that, and obviously one more win for their franchise record. So I think they're going to still want to get one win, but they're not going to go all out. So tomorrow's interesting. Craig, if you want to go and put up the starting pitcher graphic, they're doing a bullpen game with Robert Gasser. It's only his second start of the season. He's their Brewers' number 18 ranked prospect. This will be his 7th career start. I don't know how long he's planning on going. They are planning on pitching Jacob Mizorowski, their very talented pitcher who was an all-star. Has had some injuries and has struggled a little bit down the stretch, but they are not going to use him as a starter. So this will be, I think, his first appearance out of the bullpen. I doubt they're pushing him too long in this, but we'll have to wait and see. And then the Brewers are going to go with Freddie Peralta, interesting, on Sunday, which I think is good for the Reds. I'd rather have him be the last guy you face and have a better chance on Saturday with the bullpen game. But the Brewers bullpen's pretty good, so it's certainly not an easy task either. But Peralta on Sunday will be interesting because he would pitch on Saturday next week. That would be game 1 of the NLDS. So, yes, that's a little bit of rest, but I don't think they're going to pitch him more than 4 innings max, maybe 3. He might be 3 and done. But the Brewers are also going to want to get every single reliever into the next 2 games. Every single reliever that's going to be on their postseason roster, they're going to want to get in and pitch. So that could be good and bad. The good being if one guy's really cooking, they're probably not going to push him because they're going to want to get all their guys in. But bad because they're going to throw all these different arms at you. So it'll be interesting and in flux. The Marlins have Yuri Perez tomorrow, who's really talented, probably the most talented pitcher I would say that the Mets will face this weekend. The Mets going with Clay Holmes, who's flown past his career high in innings pitched. They also have Sean Manaea, who also might pitch. The Mets pitching is kind of a disaster right now. And they really, I was watching the Mets pregame show before their game on Friday night. And I mean, they were talking like they really needed Sprout, their guy on Friday night, to go deep in the game, and he didn't. He didn't get through the 5th inning. And I mean, they're really worried about it. Now, maybe they'll have some guys step up and pull off some incredible performances, but the Mets are very much piecing their pitching together the next 2 days. And the Mets have, and the Marlins have Yuri Perez. And then who do they have on Sunday? They have another good pitcher on Sunday. I'm drawing a blank. But they have a tough test on Sunday too.
Well, I was going to add
Edward Cabrera.
Yeah, I was going to add too. The Mets have absolutely just basically rode Edwin Diaz as long and hard as you can at closer. I mean, like it's a situation where I'm not trying to like say that you can get excited if Diaz comes in for a 6-out save again. But it feels like that they're playing a very, 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 very tricky game here with Diaz, because ultimately at some point you can't continue to ask him to throw 6-inning saves time and time again before he has one of those situations where he's incapable of finding the plate. Because I'm just going to say it now, I'll say it again. Like, it just it feels like the Mets are in a spot where they don't trust a whole lot of guys out of that bullpen, and ultimately they trust nobody besides Diaz if the game's close and it gets into that 7th or 8th inning mark, because they bring him in immediately for the 8th inning and then ask him to get the 6-out save, and then they just bank on the fact that they might be able to outscore the team the next night when he's not available. That's one thing the Mets can do, though. Like, we got to give the Mets credit from the standpoint that they could go out and score 10, 11, 12 runs and ultimately make it to where the pitching doesn't have to be all that great to be able to win. They're kind of feel like at least a little bit the complete opposite of the Cincinnati Reds in the way that they go and they find ways to win. So we'll ultimately watch and find out. You made mention, Nick, how many times that the Mets always now play in front of the Reds. There's a chance tomorrow where Tito's going to have to make maybe another decision there in the middle of the baseball game on what he wants to do. I'd suspect that if the Mets find themselves in a spot where they're down and or have lost the game and the Reds know this or they see this, I think that they could also just go all hands on deck for Saturday, the game tomorrow, instead of saying, well, let's do that on Sunday. Now, I'm not talking about Lodolo and Hunter Green, or I'm not talking about that in regards to all hands on deck. I'm talking about just let's run out Connor Phillips out there again for another 2 innings if he's capable of doing it. Let's run Santillan out there. Let's run Pagan out there. Let's do that again. At this point, obviously, it should be all hands on deck for the next 2 days. I don't say who cares about the postseason, but you got to get there first. That's how we all should feel, I think. And it'll be interesting to see how the Reds kind of go about this tomorrow, depending on what happens with the Mets, because, if they were to lose, it just makes it to where you can be a little more, I guess, decision-making. It can lend itself to some more decision-making. If the Mets win, you don't have any decisions to make, Nick. You just basically got to go all in both days and win. So, I don't know. It'll be interesting.
The Mets do still have they do have a couple quality relievers. I mean, the problem for them has been they haven't been able to have their starters get through 4 innings, and they've had to cover a whole lot. But Ryan Helsley, who we know how good he is when he's at his best, has pitched really well. He's not allowed to run in his last 6 innings. Has pitched much better of late. The good Rogers brother they got, he's been pitching well. Former Red Brooks Raley's been pitching well. And I don't think any of those guys, I wasn't watching closely the end of the game, but I don't think any of those guys were used tonight. So tomorrow, I would expect them to be very, very aggressive. The Mets were even considering calling up a guy from AAA that's one of their prospects that they had no thoughts of calling up. Apparently, they have another guy that throws 100 miles an hour just sitting down in AAA, that his season was over. So they're in a dire spot, but they do have, about 4 or 5 guys that could give you an inning, maybe get 4 outs that are really quality relievers. So, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see if the Mets do lose. Then you're kind of in an interesting spot. Because if you do fall behind early, that's where it becomes dicey, because
right.
You
got to know what happens in the next game.
Well, they'll know. They'll know. And there's the nice thing is there's no worries of rainouts. Both teams playing in closed roof stadiums. So they'll know. But yeah, if the Mets lose and then Andrew Abbott comes out and gives up 4 runs in the first inning, then I think you kind of don't punt the game, but you're not aggressive. You're not pitching any of your top arms, in my opinion, unless you come back and at least tie it.
I think tomorrow is such a pivotal opportunity. Obviously, if the Mets were to lose, I get the concept of saying, hey, if they were to lose, maybe you're not as aggressive, I guess, if you want to call it that, tomorrow, because ultimately you know that you can still control your own destiny on Sunday. But I'm getting a little greedy by saying this. If you know the Mets are going to lose tomorrow, or you have a good indication that they're going to be in a spot where they are going to lose, I think winning tomorrow is so pivotal for the opportunity on Sunday to be able to try to get yourself some rest and maybe give a guy a day off.
Oh, yeah.
give the entire bullpen a day off and just be able to go into the Dodgers and or the Padres or whoever the hell else we play in the wild card round. At
Dodgers.
least, yeah, and just give yourself a chance to be able to, ultimately be somewhat healthy. And I said it before, I say it again. I it's probably very low on the priority list for me right now because clearly you just got to get there. But it would be nice to be able to have that Sunday as a day of rest. Yeah, I mean, let's face it, Nick. The Reds haven't found themselves in a spot like this in a very, very long time, and this is what we've been hoping for. We've been in 2023. I think we made mention that there's a lot of these guys that we'd love to get experience for, and they've had this experience prior to. And Connor Phillips, oddly enough, it was one of those guys that got a chance to pitch when there was meaningful games late. Ellie De La Cruz was certainly there. Marte was there. Matt McClain was there. Stevenson, like you have an opportunity now to hopefully build on the experiences you had prior to and capitalize, because you got to find a way to win tomorrow. And you got what is, some would say, the best arm you've had all year long from a consistency standpoint. He was an all-star. He was considered our ace, and I put that in quotations because I don't really love that word, at one time this year, going up against the Brewers in a bullpen game. And as you mentioned, I don't want to downplay the bullpen game because the Brewers are just really, really good, and they've won a lot of games for a reason. So there's no pushovers. But let's face it, Andrew Abbott is going up against a bullpen game. That is a great advantage for the Reds, for what it could have been at least.
And Andrew Abbott has pitched well in his career against the Brewers. Career 3.57 ERA in 7 starts. Brewers only hitting .204. Their active hitters against him. Contreras is just 5 for 17. Ortiz 1 for 8. Yelich is only 5 for 21. Vaughn 1 for 8. And Monasterio, their kind of Reds killer that platoons a lot, is just 2 for 14. And Abbott pitched well his last time out. Went 4 2/3. Didn't give a run against the Cubs. I would expect, I mean, they're probably looking for 4 innings out of Abbott tomorrow. Maybe 3. And that might sound crazy to some people. But with not using Martinez today and not using Chase Burns, if Abbott gets through 3 innings and the game's tied or close, but he kind of just gets through them, I wouldn't be shocked if they're bringing in Nick Martinez in the 4th inning.
Yeah, and listen, I for those that are wondering, unfortunately right now there's not a line out for the Reds and the Brewers. I was hoping to see that, but there's a really good chance, you could call it a 50-50 chance tomorrow, that if you were to look at the odds, if you were a betting person, or even if you're not, honestly, at this point, even if you're not a betting person, it's more or less just for your information to know kind of what the books think. The Mets and the Marlins is a toss-up. It is quite literally a 50-50 split, and then you have the Reds, I'm guessing, is going to be right around a 50-50 split. If I had to guess, Nick, maybe the Reds would be a slight favorite. I don't know.
I think it'll be an underdog just because of Mizorowski.
It's on the road, and I just don't know what they're going to value the bullpen game to be, but we'll see. Ultimately, I think it's going to be relatively, a coin flip for both teams. So, yeah, buckle up, because this is it's going to be a wild 24 hours as a Reds fan.
Yeah. What a time to be alive. Yeah. Well, we'll do it again tomorrow.
Yeah, we will. So to be honest, everybody, we will for sure be live in the 9th inning tomorrow. You don't have to worry about that. We got everything squared away now here on my end. But I just want to say thank you. Please hit the like button if you haven't already. We got a couple super chats, but before we do that, I know we did the who, what, when, where, and why already. Do you have anything to add to that, or you feel good about it? Yep. So just to be clear again, Andrew Abbott going up against what is going to be a bullpen game. Nick already talked about this previously with Robert Gasser. All right, moving forward here, a couple more super chats before we move on, and then we got a wild card update, and then we will all hopefully say a little prayer. Justin Edgel says J.R. House is drinking Kool-Aid, is what he's saying. That is what he is saying. I got to tell you, J.R. House did not make me pleased on Sunday. Now, whatever day that was, not Sunday, but the Thursday was a day game, made me think it was a Sunday. Yeah, listen, I mean, he made a bad call. I'm not going to sit here and act like I didn't have a lot of frustration with J.R. House. He made a bad call. Tonight, not totally sure, but I know one thing. He learned his lesson, and he made sure that he held, I think it was Gavin Lux at third base tonight on a base hit with nobody out. And what happened? He ended up scoring, so that's nice to see. Peyton Drake says, am I crazy for thinking we push all our chips in for the top of the first against Gasser and have Marte, Steer, and Andujar bat at the top of the order? All hands on deck mentality. Let's go for it. Well, Peyton, I don't think that's a bad idea, but I got news for you. You can wish in one hand and you know what in the other, and I can tell you which one's going to come out faster, and it's not going to be that lineup. Nick, it's not going to be that lineup. Don't get your hopes up. They're going to run out. They're usual, and you're not going to be happy about it. But I will say, do you think that there's any chance that they could at least possibly, perhaps, adjust the lineup a little bit from the Friedel McLean, or are they going to ride with it, or not McLean, Friedel Lux, or are they going to ride with it because it's had success?
Well, there's no way Lux will be batting third. He may or may not play tomorrow. They haven't played him against lefty. Reds haven't played at lefty since the 19th. Last time it was Friedel, Marte, Andujar, Hayes. The guy that should be batting in the top three is Tyler Stevenson against a lefty. Tyler Stevenson has destroyed lefties for his entire career. Noelvi Marte and Spencer Steer actually have not hit lefties very well at all. They've had massive reverse splits each of the last 2 seasons. Some of that I do believe is sort of fluky, but for me, that's the one thing that I absolutely despise that the Reds do, and I think they get taken advantage of this, and I think they could get taken advantage of this if we're fortunate enough to get to the playoffs with lefty openers. If a team is using an opener, put 3 right-handed batters, 1, 2, 3, and make it hard on them. Why would you bat TJ Friedel leadoff still in those spots? TJ Friedel has not hit lefties well. Outside of some bunt hits, he does not hit lefties well at all. So Tyler Stevenson would be a guy. Obviously, Andujar would be a guy. Austin Hayes, if he's healthy, has destroyed lefties. I don't know if he's healthy or not. We'll know if Austin Hayes is on the playoff roster. If he's in the lineup tomorrow, though, would be my guess. And another guy I'd try to get in there is Sal Stewart. I'd have those guys batting some order 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'd put pressure on him. But they won't do that. They haven't done it all year, and it's very annoying, and I think it's a massive mistake. And I think it's cost this team this year, and it could cost this team again going forward.
Yeah, I would love to see them stack the top of the lineup, but it's just not going to happen. So I'm not going to get my hopes up. I don't expect it in the slightest. I mean, with the lineup has not made sense so many times this year. To think it's going to make sense on the last 2 days of the season is crazy. It's just not going to. And listen, it's worked out. So I'm not going to sit here and act like it's the I say it's worked out, but I'm trying to be nice. It's a positive show. The Reds are
82 wins.
Yeah, I'm just being honest. It's a positive show. The Mets have absolutely let the Reds off the hook in regards to the way that people would perceive this season, and I'm all here for it, okay? I am all here for it. If the Mets want to lose the next 2 days and the Reds were to lose the next 2 days and somehow the Padres hold on and win, I'm fine with that too if you guarantee me that result. So I'm not here to say that I don't care about the semantics of it all, because I don't, and I just want them to get in the postseason. So. All right, folks, wild card update here one last time before we head into the night. I just want to say thank you. Like the stream if you haven't already. It is the end of the 6th, and the Padres are leading the Diamondbacks 6-2. That would, to be clear, give the Reds one team to concern themselves over, and that would be the Mets and the Mets only. Nick, this is it, man. Not much else to talk about outside the fact that the Reds got to go out tomorrow and they got to find a way to win. And if they don't find a way to win, then they got to pray and hope that the Marlins continue to find ways to take care of the Mets. But I just don't want it to come down to that. I really would not like it to come down to that. And if nothing else, I would love tomorrow night, maybe, just maybe, to smoke the first cigar of my life. Now, I'm not here to say that job's not finished, but these things have been sitting down here for a long time. And I said I wasn't going to smoke a cigar until the Reds did it. Some people made fun of me. They said it was going to be until I was like 50, and it still could be. But you know what? There's a chance. Tomorrow at this time, we broke out some Romeo and Juliets from the Dominican Republic. Shout out to Marte. Shout out to our man, Ellie De La Cruz. Am I missing anybody?
A reminder. Yeah.
Is Andujar? Well, who else is from the Dominican Republic? I don't know. Anyway. Sorry.
The Marte is, right?
I said Marte and Ellie.
Fox broadcast tomorrow. Mike Hart brought it up. Make sure plan accordingly. By the way, a massive L from Fox. They're getting lucky because of how today turned out. But there was a scenario where if the Reds would have lost today, the Mets would have won, and the Mets won tomorrow, that the Reds were eliminated, and the Reds game on Fox wouldn't have mattered. So I do not know why Fox didn't have. They picked 2 games, and they picked an American League game and a National League game. Why would you not pick both National League games and have both teams playing at the same time? Also, Major League Baseball, it seems like a mistake too. Like, it would create more drama. I don't know why they didn't do it. Right now, it's a massive, I think, advantage for the Reds because the Reds know what they're up against. If you're the Reds, you love that you're the team playing second. And the nice thing is that the Mets have pressure, Trace, have a lot of pressure no matter what, because they don't know what the Reds are going to do. Like if the Reds played first and they lost, yes, the Mets still need to win, but it's not like our season's over if we lose, right? So I think it's an advantage for the Reds because of today.
Yeah, sorry. I just got a post that got sent to me, and my brain's in a pretzel because I got to think of something funny to say. We finally made our moment here on Chatterbox Sports. I'll just leave it at that. I'm going to save it to the end of the show. Could you tell me what you just said? Because I wasn't listening at all. And you'll completely understand why when I share what I'm about to share with you here in about a minute and a half.
Okay. No, I was saying I think Fox made a massive mistake, Major League Baseball not putting.
Yes.
Well, I don't know why you wouldn't either pick both the Tigers and Guardians games and put them both at 7:00, or pick both the Reds and Mets game. That was very weird that they didn't do that, and they got lucky that they didn't have a meaningless game tomorrow night. But I think it's a pretty big advantage for the Reds to know what the Mets are going to do and be able to kind of plan your pitching accordingly and all that sort of stuff. And I think it puts more pressure on the Mets. Because let's say the Reds went first and lost. Yes, the Mets still have to win because they have to win at least one of the final 2 games, but it's not like your season's over. I mean, they have to play tomorrow like their season is over if they lose because the Reds could eliminate them. So I think it's a little bit of an advantage with the Mets playing first.
Yeah, it's 100% advantage for us to know what the Mets do. I mean, that's a matter of fact. Now, the question is ultimately, does it? I guess, are we putting too much stock into it? I don't know. I mean, realistically speaking, I would it motivate the Reds to win more if they seen that the Mets won, or would it motivate the Reds to win more if they seen them lose, or would it just let them maybe feel like, okay, we don't have to win tonight type thing? I don't know. I really don't know. I just know that more times than not, once the game gets going, I don't think them guys. I don't think that they let it bleed into their play as much as we might think. I do think that it can be motivating more than anything. I don't think it'll be a pessimistic thing. I don't think it'll be a negative thing, put it that way. If the Mets were to win, well, then I think it's easy for the Reds to be like, well, this justifies us going out and throwing our best arms no matter what. And I honestly think if they lose and you have a chance to win, it gives them a chance to throw their best arms. Ultimately, though, to be frank, the way that it could help them the most, Nick, in my opinion, is if they know the Mets lost, right? Then and they find themselves down 2, 3, 4 runs, I think they can save their bullets for the following day. I see you smiling, so you probably see what's going on here.
You had to bring it back up. It was dead. It wasn't over with. You had to bring it back up.
Nick, here's the thing. This is a beautiful thing. We're gonna get to the bottom.
I get fired from 700 WLW because of this.
We're gonna get. Oh, come on. We're going to get to the bottom of this. I'm going to put out a quote tweet, and I'm going to say, Connor, we love you. We thought we made a funny tweet one day about you signing some autos, and you know what? In hindsight, we came off the wrong way, and at the end of the day, we move on, go win tomorrow. That's all that matters. So here we are. You know, sometimes you got to have a coming Jesus moment. We just had it. Seems like he's in good spirits right now. Listen. Connor Phillips,
I'd hope so.
I mean, Connor Phillips is the man of the town right now, okay? Here soon, if he keeps throwing the ball the way that he is, he's going to have a steak named after him at Jeff Ruby's. You think I'm joking? I'm not. But nonetheless. Like the stream on the way out. I don't know how many people have watched this show. Thousands, millions, multiple millions. But if you haven't liked the stream already, please do so. We appreciate everybody. We're in here each and every single day in the ninth inning for what has been all 160 games, and we are on our way to 161, and let's hope it is the most important game of the season for your Cincinnati Reds, and they find a way to win. In the meantime, take care of yourselves. Get yourself rested up. Go watch the Cincinnati Reds, your favorite baseball team, play on national television tomorrow with a chance to possibly clinch their postseason berth. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Do you believe it? You should start believing it because they have a chance to do it, and we'll be back here better than ever tomorrow in the ninth inning to talk all about it. Till then, take care, everybody. We love you. We appreciate you. Make sure that if you haven't yet, hit the like button, and we will see you all tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Robert, this show's over, brother. This show's over, and you drop a 50-bomb super chat? What are we doing? Do you have anything to say? Do you want to say anything? Robert Sheehan just said 50 bombs without saying nothing, and then in the chat he said, I'm just leaving the bar after watching the Reds kick the Brewers' tail. I'm keeping it a kid show, everybody. Let's go. Don't know if you meant to say that in the super chat and you had a long day at the bar, but if you haven't, or if that you meant to do it, there you go. But thank you, Robert. We very much appreciate you. Now I'm going to get the show right back on the road where it left off. All right? Take care, everybody.